of AKT Celebrity Reads. I'm your host, Alexis K. Tyler. We are, I was getting ready to say, but I guess not say that I'm still dealing with AKT Celebrity Reads because I'm dealing with Nipsey and Dr. Sabian the Spirits. I am confirming today, as you all seen on the news and you sent it to me, one thing about Puffy and Cassie, when I said they were all drug addicts, they were all partying and fucking and sucking along with Nipsey baby mama. That came out today. There was a bodyguard. I think if someone dealt with security, he was being interviewed by Pierce Morgan. So that's huge. He was on a European show saying he personally saw Diddy and Cassie getting high. And I'm sure that had a lot to do with him being able to beat her ass like he did and have no feelings and no remorse. I mean, narcissists don't care about other people anyway. They have a God complex, an entitled complex, and that's the way that industry raised him to be. That's the way his mother raised him to be. But on top of that, you're numb when you're on drugs. And just like if you look back at your parents, you probably didn't know, and some of you probably knew, the one that dogged you out the most is an extreme narcissist and probably a prescription drug addict, as well as a street drug addict, and dealt with drug sales. Many of you just didn't know, or they were functioning addicts, like what I grew up with and grew up around. So they really have no feelings for you. All their feelings are turned off. They're only about what they want, who they want, and how they're going to get it. And the only interaction they have with their children, because narcissists look at their children as a burden to them. They, as long as the children can make them look good in public, the children can shine, and it's a reflection on benefiting the mother. That's the sick narcissist. Doing some type of trick, being able to stand on their head and tap their hands, being beautiful, whatever recognition academically, whatever the child does, it's because of them. Let them tell it. Even though they weren't nowhere fucking around, or when they were around, they were physically around, but mentally, emotionally abusive and absent and not there. Puffy Diddy is the same way. And when he engages women, he feels nothing. And they are only pawns to him, like dogs or animals, to be able to meet his demands or his desires. So this girl basically was taught to be a whore and a junkie and to zone out so she could get through these procedures, these freak offs, with her friend. And these other friends are around them. So there was confirmation of that, as well as extremely bad weather done hit Texas. Oh, y'all done towed up the motherfucker out there. And some parts with other male spirits that came over to do that shit. They done hit Georgia. They done hit different states in the past few days. Like I told you, they were Water World. Also, there's been a large recall on water, a couple of brands of bottles of water where they said they have different types of bacteria in them. There's a family that got this worm infection for eating some black bear meat. They're up there eating them goddamn bears. I don't know why they doing this shit, but basically none of these animals, pussy ass, or none of their meat is goddamn off limb. They fucking them all and eating them all and shit. Now this whole family's fucked up with these parasites in the brain and all over the body from eating, going out there in the woods, killing them black bears, eating them. The mad cow, the other parasitic diseases that are coming up. I saw another one. Damn, I forgot the name of it. The CDC has put out a warning about the black bear, about people eating them, and other diseases and viruses come out. Some of these cruise ships, like I told y'all, Nipsey told me about those, have been quarantined. They did not pass the health inspections, and people getting the coronavirus, I think the norovirus, different, not corona, but norovirus, different stomach viruses and ass viruses and shit on these goddamn ships, like I told y'all that Nipsey said they would be doing, and how nasty it is in these goddamn ship. People disappearing, jumping off the side of the goddamn ship. I don't know if they drunk, when they fentanyl got that bending over condition, actually bent over and goddamn accidentally fall off the motherfucker on the side. That's been going on, along with more planes having turbulence. Killed someone the other day in the plane. The turbulence so bad and fucked some more motherfuckers up there where they had to go get some damn operation and shit from throwing their ass around on the goddamn plane. I think in the past couple of days, some more shit came up by the plane and turbulence. I put those stories up there. Oh, yeah, and people, I never said don't get a blood transfusion. I never said don't give blood. Because giving blood is not going to make you sick. Now, sure, it would deplete your body if you're doing too much and you don't replenish it. But actually, them putting a needle in your vein and pulling blood out is not going to give you an infection, HIV infection, anything like that. They're pulling blood out. They're not putting it in. I said, if you're going to get these, you need to get that blood thoroughly tested to make sure it is not HIV positive, or give your own blood before surgery. Have them put your blood in a reserve. Put it in the, keep it on ice in case something happens to you, or you get ready to get surgery. First of all, they have it there as a backup if you need it, and then you just keep it on ice anyway. You keep your eggs, you keep your child's placenta or stem cell blood there in case something happens to you, because that can also be used for health reasons. That's what I said. Are people saying, oh, I got a transfusion that happened because you was lucky? If it wasn't your blood, you was lucky. You were protected. Because I just put an example in the community forum from Britain. And the reason why I think I put it, no, I know the reason why, but I think it was Britain. In the 80s and the 90s, I think they're still in a lawsuit right now, but a lot of them have died because they got blood transfusion or they were hemophiliacs and they had blood products or blood plasma, and they developed HIV and hepatitis, and a lot of them have been dying, but then they've lived quite a while with the condition. Why did I mention it? Because it was blood products and plasma sent from the USA. Just like if you look at it, because they've erased a lot of this stuff, the Bayer Corporation in the United States sent blood products and plasma overseas maybe 25, 30 years ago, and they knew it was tainted with HIV. Sold it to European countries, gave it to them anyway, and all the people that used the product developed HIV. That's why. Because the United States will have tainted products, HIV, hepatitis, other STDs and conditions in the product, and will give people the blood or the plasma that's hemophiliacs or blood developed products anyway, to prove what the fuck I said. Which I always stand by what I say anyway. When you overhear that kind of shit goes on, where people, they'll say it was an accident, or they were not watching what they're doing, but they knew. It says in the article the U.S. knew. And if you you can look at it on YouTube if it's still here, or Google it, the Bayer Corporation knew the blood was tainted with HIV and sold it to European countries anyway. So these were not like just African third world countries, and we know they do it to them, but it was European, it was white people that also got infected. And I think some of these that I saw in that article are white people. They gave it to, because they didn't give a fuck. It was just about money to them. Until they have these companies so big like that, you have to look at that symbol Bayer. Those are religious, like satanically religious companies. They have a certain amount of sacrifice they must pull on the innocent, on the light bearers, to suck their souls in for power and wealth and fame and fortune. All those countries that are big like they have taken an oath, and it's dealing with children, and they sacrifice them and eat them, rape them, or they're not going to be big like that, and they're not going to be big bankers. You can look up the Illuminati banker. That tells you that. That's one reason why he wasn't as big when he was actually pulled into the group, because he didn't have the stomach to sacrifice children, because he was abused as a child. I think his name is Bernard something. Okay, so I put the confirmation on that, and I could not believe Isn't it amazing? It's fascinating. Nipsey's altar after 5 years. After the day he was assassinated, March 31st, 2019, we are in May of 2024, and this man's altar that I have of his still shines so brightly. I hadn't put it up in a while because I was sick, and I feel so much better, and I kind of felt like he wanted it, and I said, well, let me see if he wants it and if he will still come here and if he still responds. And you see that altar looks just like it did last year and the year before. So he clearly is still very powerful in the earth realm, still has a lot to say, has a lot to share. Let me tell you something what he is saying that I never heard before. We're dealing with numbers, and we're in the city of the O. Okay, we're dealing with the O. Alice in Wonderland, I will put it that way. We're going down a path of Wonderland with the O type blood, positive and negative. And what he is telling me about it, I never heard before, but I'm going to say some of it to you anyway. And when I do the recordings privately for the people that donate, you'll be able to have it and download it and listen to more in-depth info. I'm just going to give you an intro of what he is saying about the O and the RA. What is it? The RH rhesus factor. Is that what is that the name of your blood? The people that have that blood type, RH, the one that will attack. I guess they have to have a certain treatment or something, so they want to attack that while they're pregnant, attack the child. What would it? Because some people said they have it. They were putting the comments in there, that type of blood, and I realized that blood can be in different races as well as the O. There are white people that have O as well, and that is considered the universal standard for transfusion, positive and negative. He was explaining to me, and it ties into when we're playing, when we're calculating these numbers to play. He said there's a different type of number and a different energy that you'd give a person that's a O blood type, a AB, and the rhesus. What do you call it, please? Because I don't want to say it wrong. Is it the RH? If you don't know who Nipsey Hussle is, that's your responsibility to know. It's not for me to tell you anything. So go figure it out on your own. Can you tell me what that is? I also put my cash up in here. Hit my cash up, make it clap. That, what is the name of that blood? Is it RH? Uh, Negative, was it RH rhesus factor? What is it? So I will know how to say it correctly. He said when you're dealing with a O blood, you also have to go back to native tribes, Native American tribes, indigenous tribes, and the genealogy of where you came from, because a lot of people that carry O blood are from a ethnic background that has been humiliated, degraded, abused, oppressed, and stolen from. It is a victimized energy attached to that old blood, and death, pain, victimization, and destruction. Those people or their ancestors, and you'll carry that energy where it will create poverty, conflict, and pain within the person. Then he said some of these people, and there are drunks, like alcoholics, murderers, or have been jeez, God, where the fuck this is coming from. I'm just gonna say it anyway. A lot of ancestors are following them that are displeased, as well as being victimized now by tainting the blood and giving it to them. They don't know. They are shut down. They are turned off. They are not listening to the ancestors that are following them. And there are a lot of ancestors that are following them that have been like on the trail of tears, that are very unhappy, that were murdered. They were literally burned and lynched and shot and raped, and then mangled to death, and there has been no justice for them. So a lot of them had a hard knock life, and then they're around their ancestors trying to wake the ones up, like what we are doing right now, we're talking about, and their ancestors don't hear them, or whatever they do. Even if they go to school and they're very successful at graduating and have the credentials and prestige and go for the particular jobs, or go for the particular lovers and have the particular husbands and have the particular children, following the standard that you were told to follow, and then have these things unravel because they have unresolved ancestors around them that are making their life miserable, because you haven't banished the disagreeable ones, as well as called in the ones to hear what they want you to know and what they need you to do for them, and set up these ancestor altars dealing with vibration and frequency. They just mentioned jigsaw puzzles as well. We need to start playing with the jigsaw and the crisscross. What are those? Where you have the puzzles. Thank you. RH negative. Thank you. And that's right, Mr. Johnson. Get into the genetics of it, because we have to set them free while we set ourselves free. And a lot of us had mathematician, and he's saying like engineers that worked for NASA, like in the space programs or in the programs before they created NASA, and stole a lot of this sacred knowledge from these African tribes and the Native American tribes here and overseas, in Africa, and hid this knowledge where you don't know who you are, and said some of these are also prisoners. They're inmates. If you know of any inmates that are your relatives, or that used to be, or you heard stories about ones that were really good with dreams, visions, and numbers, you want to get those immediately and place those people on your altar. If you have a child that's way, that's good at math and thinking and have these abilities, you want to introduce or play with the child. Play with the numbers, or play games with numbers, words, and computers. Let that child look at numbers and pick out ones for you. Pick out ones they're drawn to, they like. You want to start cataloging these things, so you can start playing with them as you decide which one for the week or the day that you're going to play with. The curses, that's what Nipsey was saying to me. They have to be moved. They are within the blood, and they are within the letter of the blood. So that's what A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O. 15. O is the 15th one. So I'm confirm that for me. Is O the 15th alphabet? Because that will be your number. 15, and then reduce it to 6. And even 33. You do the same thing with whatever the other blood type you are. But we're focusing, for some reason, Nipsey and the spirits are focusing on the O. So we're dealing with the number 15, because that would be the 15th letter, okay? So the letter would still go back to a number. I need you to write this down. And they made, since that was a universal one, if you would look at that, a lot of people of color carry O. And their families and their backgrounds will carry that burden that he just told me about. That has to be broken, because you have to resolve it within the self-love and self-respect of yourself. And ask for forgiveness and right your wrongs, and get negative, dirty motherfuckers out of your life right now, today. And start doing your uncrossing baths, your uncrossing floor washes, your meditations. Have your altars set up for every other ethnic group that you know you have in your family. I don't care if it's white people. Even though you are not a white person, but you have the white genes in there, you still want to honor the ones that you know that you can find and their names. And you want to do their magic. All of it benefits you. You can use the European magic. I know Freya is one of the powerful goddesses that similar Odin and Freya. It is your job to know these things because we're dealing with straight spirit now, straight mind, straight vibrational frequencies and numbers. Certain words, and if we do the word in English, we must convert it to the number. That is what he is saying. And it's weird when he started talking to me about RH. He said the numbers would be different because the energy is assault and violence. He said with the RH, and I didn't calculate that one yet, so if anybody can calculate it for me and put it in the chat, that is fine. He said that is a more aggressive blood. The ancestors behind that are more of a warrior type and ready to get it crunk. And unfortunately, he's saying that a lot of people with that type of, not all of them, he said, but the energies and entities behind that blood, they will turn on their own and eat their own. And some of their family members have murdered each other, raped each other, assaulted each other, actually turned on them for Europeans when they were in slave trades or even at these jobs right now. They saying some of these black, so-called black folk, you are fighting that set your ass up and laugh and talk. When if you know their blood type, they'll tell you they got that RH in there somewhere, goddammit. If it's not them, it's they fucking mammy. Now I'm telling you, I'm listening to him say this shit and I'm like, what? He said, so they must be dealt with differently because it's more of an aggressive energy. So it would be a different type of number that would be more beneficial to them to play because they are not in a victim mode. And if they are outwardly, it's because they don't know themselves inwardly. The other side of that blood will fucking flip. So see, now that got me thinking some whole other shit. So I'm just like, okay, so all these black folks that supposed to get along and shit that are not a part of the same ethnic group like you're told, do not all get along, do not all look alike, or not the same complexion. They just intuitively don't like each other. I'm not saying that's the only reason, but blood is life. And the ignorance of the blood can be death. And death can also live in it because of the groups of ancestors you might have that turned on your motherfucking ass. I might turn on your mother. It's like flipping. Just like my family. And you have a lot of families that will flip on their own motherfucking blood relatives and like, she ain't part of me, or she thinks she better than me. And because you don't know what other blood mixed in there with their mammy and goddamn daddy or grandmama or granddad. Those things, it depends on the one that's most dominant and the one that's talking in the blood. They talk to each other in the blood. They talk to each other in the body. They talk to each other in the cells. That's who's going to rule. If the blood is dominant and the entities and the energies inside of the blood and then outside of the blood, whoever physically dominates them, that they listen to, that tell them to turn on you or won't try to create any unity within the family, that's who's going to be the motherfucking winner. And that will be your fucking enemy. And they will all gang up on your goddamn ass. So then if you happen to be a O and you're a passive O, they'll beat your damn ass on every damn level and ostracize and isolate you. So you're going to have to build up the O. I'm not saying all old people are nice and all old people are passive, but what I'm saying is if you are one of us, like what we talking about right here, and doing what we doing, you got to know this here. You got to clean this up. You got to cut motherfuckers off in your family ain't no goddamn good. And you know which ones it is. Sometimes you just don't want to motherfucking know. Try to fix this shit that ain't gonna never be fixed because it takes two people to build a goddamn relationship. And if that shit in them, and they got negative disagreeable things in them towards you, and that's the way they want it, that's where the fuck it's gonna stay. So then you got to boss up. And like I said, now I'm the ice queen in this bitch. I'm the queen of swords in this bitch. I'm going to do you like you do me. And anybody that's good to me, that's who I'm going to be faithful to. Anybody donate to me, that's who I'm going to tell like the real shit, like all the shit, goddammit, and record the shit. So you can download it and you help yourself. But just like going into all that shit in public, for people that don't value me and want to come and troll and shit, and you ain't got nothing for me, you ain't got no donation for me, but you want everything from me to give to you, fuck you. See, now I'm going to do everybody the way they motherfucking do me. Because people make you that way. They finally turn you that way. Or you keep getting stomped. You keep being nice to people and take it for a weakness, and they come to your house and do all kind of bullshit to you and tell lies on you and talk to your motherfucking neighbors and set your ass up and beg you for money and then say you a broke bitch, you ain't never gave them a goddamn thing. You know, when they all up in your face and eating your food and shit and laughing in your goddamn face and taping your dance and nigga in your face and nigga in your house and he's stabbing you too and back and you taking the motherfuckers back. I'm done with all that shit. I'm the ice queen this motherfucker. I'm gonna serve you, Cole, what you serve me. So I don't know if I'm an old whatever. I got to fucking find out. But all I know is, and then that started my own family doing me that goddamn way. And oh well, you know, Jesus said you gotta forgive me and you gotta give me another chance. You know that Mama doing the best she can. Yeah, you a dirty bitch, and that's what the fuck you is. And that's what the fuck you gonna stay. And you looking for narcissistic supply. And I ain't giving it to you. I ain't giving it to none of you. I'm giving it to you, sir, cold bitch. The same way you giving it to me. I don't give a fuck who you is, because you don't give a fuck about me. Fuck all that shit. But when he told me that about them blood types, and he said that shit, run that shit, as well as whoever gave birth to you, your mama, your daddy, and what they types is, and the wars and the humiliation, degradation, the victimization that's possibly there that you don't know about. It's your responsibility to find out. If you're an ethnic person on this planet, if you're a non-white person, like I said, white people got that blood too, and some of them have went through the same fucking shit and don't consider themselves white. Even their skin might goddamn look white. Because a lot of Jewish people, they got white skin, they like, I'm not white, and get very offended by that shit. They will have that shit in their blood too, because a lot of them were enslaved and have to fight and were oppressed. But if you're a person of color and you have that lineage, you need to find it out, and you've got to speak to them people right now. And if you can find the Indian mounds where you live at, where your peoples came from, where your mom and them came from, look and see if it's mounds there. If you're not there, you need to take a pilgrimage there. You need to look that up. A lot of this stuff is free on Google, and find out what tribe that is, because a lot of them are still living. They're living in you. And they're speaking through you. And a lot of them are very upset and a lot of pain because of the way they lived and the way they died. And a lot of them were murdered or died with people dogging them out and using them that look just like them, that were programmed to feed off of their own. Those parasites will be around you, around your house, and block your numbers and block your fucking money and block your blessings. And when he told me that, I'm just like, huh? He said, this is what's going on right now, and it needs to be addressed and stopped right now. Because these could be things they did and somebody blocked them. These could be things they wanted to do and was too scared to manifest it, or nobody was around them to encourage them to do it, or laughed at them or put them down. My whole life I've been laughed at and put down for the abilities that I have. And, oh, okay, that's good what was said. I mean, you can see all the energy. You know they're here because you can see it in my altar. Nifty's altar as well. And it's not just him. It's a group of elders here that are talking at the same time he's talking and saying what he's saying. And they're saying a war is coming. Just like it's still unresolved wars in a lot of our families, and the genetics of the family. Everything is about genetics. But we're taught not to go into the sciences. Everybody else goes into it and knows more about us than we do. And that science, but also tied to what? Mathematics, which is a number. This is like he's saying you have to clear house now. Mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And the ones that are destructive and disagreeable ancestors, you have to get them out of your mind, get them out of your house, get them out of your life, because they'll follow certain light being ancestors around, even though they don't mean you no good, and they're very angry and they're disruptive. They want attention and they want justice for what was done to them, but they will end up being parasitic and pull off of you. So they'll take, but they will not give back, because a lot of these relatives that are physically dead are narcissistic and cruel. as well. They were born that way, as well as having somebody doing that or doing something to them or raping them, beating them, molesting them, stealing from them. So they don't leave this realm. They'll come and take from you. So you have to look at the circumstances in your life and the situations before this point to see if you see that with living relatives, mothers, fathers, as well as other ones. And did you allow lovers? Because they will then transform and get into these demonic entities. A lot of them are very demonic. They'll get into a nigga you fucking with, a bitch you fucking with, that's you think is your friend or your coworker or your boss, and this stuff will follow you where you go and you wonder. And then it could be like my mother was putting shit on her children to sabotage them because she didn't want them to rise greater than her because you know that we had the talent and potential to do so. And all that shit is backfired on her, but it'll cause you problems for years, decades, until you have the courage to fight them and start to realize where this is coming from. Your family don't mean you know goddamn good, and get away from them. But the ones out of body too, they can sit them on you. They can know more about the family history because my mother knew about all the family history, the relatives. She knew the white relatives, the black relatives. She knew the horoscopes of everybody. She would catalog all this information, go and research, get pictures of these people. And now I realize people do that to sick them on another motherfucker, to use them for their own gain, as well as sick them on somebody and watch shit happen in that person's life or charm something. But my mother used to come and give me a lot of jewelry. Here's a ring, here's a necklace I had, and it'd be cheap shit. Every time I took something for her to wear, I had a money issue. I had a love issue. She was trying to take my beauty, my money, my love, which is what you need in this world. And my grandmother kept saying, and this other man that was a prophet, he says, stop taking stuff from her and stop wearing it. She charms it. Somebody can curse something and give it to you and then stay around you and watch you like they want to be your friend, but we're watching the progression of the spell and then laugh when fucked up shit happens to you. So you have to, that's also an ancestor in her because she's a fat, demonic, fluffy, stinking bitch. That's what the fuck she is. Nice and fluffy and dirty as hell. And see, they'll have disagreeables with them talking to them, be born with them, that are also very demonic, that'll tell them to do that shit to their own fucking child and start doing it to them in the motherfucking uterus, talking to them a certain way, and then talking to them as a baby, saying shit to them, and then found they lie. See, y'all, I don't know why, but this man said that this is what you need to know. First of all, also, I don't know who you are, nor do I care. So you need to go to your own page and have your own Bible class and do what the fuck you doing, because you don't know what the fuck I read and you don't know what the fuck I know. But you ain't finna come over here and try to preach to me or teach me a goddamn thing. So I don't know why he's saying only y'all can. Thank you, Alway. You like the pan video. Only, yeah, but I'm not gonna do that all the time. I'm not interested in it no more. I worn out. I'm not gonna keep trying to be dramatic and entertain people. You know, it's years of that. Y'all go watch years of that. I'm done with it. It didn't benefit me. People didn't educate. They just thought it was something fucking funny. So I'm not going back there to do that. I'm on what I'm on right now, which is really teaching and showing who I really am. So you all can listen to this and see if you think about this, you meditate on this, you pray over this, and you see if it's anything you can take from what I'm saying and research things and the epigenetics of a thing. Because see, they would also go down into epigenetics. And it's not going to wake up and speak to every relative that you have. They are not going to be enlightened like you or be attracted to people like me and listen to what I'm saying. Because if you're listening to what I'm saying, even if you haven't been taught that, because I was raised to be a Jesus freak, then, and Jesus, the real one, was not white, a prophet, but also a metaphysical master who has studied in India, studied meditation, all of these secret sciences, and in Egypt. So And the Bible comes from the Egyptian scrolls. And many people don't know that because they believe in this Southern shit and this United States shit that's got you fucked up and bound. Tarot and all these things go together and it's not demonic. But I'm not going to let nobody tread on me and disrespect me and make me feel like something is wrong with me. Because I have these gifts and because we use these tools to see things we need to verify about people, places, things, and decisions. When I didn't do this and I didn't listen to myself, I was lost and I always got fucked up trusting people and trusting their smiles and things they said, especially older motherfucker like that old nigga I was fucking with. And the reason why I told y'all that if something happens to me, y'all please tell people he did it and that he had something to fucking do with the shit. That's why I wanted y'all to know what the situation was, the real shit, and how this motherfucker will not let this go. You're going to leave somebody. I accepted you leaving. I ain't ran behind you. I ain't begged you. I ain't chased you to come back. But you chasing me. You watching me and trying to keep up what the fuck I'm doing. You left. I accepted it. Why don't you accept your decision and get the fuck on? But instead, this motherfucker's still doing this shit and won't let me go. And I'm already gone. I don't belong to nobody. And I'm not his property. Trying to act like I'm your property, like I belong to you. I'm a human being with God-given rights to be free and manifest and do the will of God and to manifest the gifts that he gave me. Nobody else has the right to take that or put your foot on me or humiliate, degrade, and abuse me and hold me fucking down and tell lies on me and then dog me out and leave me and then try to demand that I take you the fuck back. Be a man about it. You left, stay gone. Be over there with that bitch that you thought was better than me that looked like that hee-haw donkey in the face. Got a big ass like you like it, but looked like Shrek in the head. Or was it a donkey over there? On one of them Eddie Murphy cartoons, this fucker looked like a straight up goddamn donkey by the head. Goddamn it. With a long way off the front, goddamn it, hairline. So that's what you think is better? Then stay over there. Instead of the threats and shit and the stalking. But see, that's why I'm telling y'all. Hot 1 minute, cold 1 minute, nice to me 1 minute, then I don't want to pull my ass cheek apart and jiggle them for you and grab my kneecap. Now you know you ugly, you done fell off, don't nobody want you any goddamn way. And that's why I told y'all. So y'all see something happen to me and I ain't on the internet no more and you don't hear my voice and then y'all find out that I ain't here. Tell them it was his goddamn ass or one of his fucking flunkies. You said Anthony's right. Turn about, you know what? Yeah, okay. You need to stay with God, baby. And stay the fuck I'm over here. Because you ain't finna proselytize nothing over here. The fuck out of my motherfucking chat. That I'm looking through here. Because you're not staying over here. I want y'all to let me know what you're thinking about this when you sit with it, you know? Sit with it. And because this blood thing. Okay, Demetrius 5. So you're going to play that or something. There would also be a 6 and then there'd be a 33. The 6 is 2 3s. You see what I'm saying? You got to freak them. And that negative one is a motherfucker. That RH negative is a motherfucker I see. And so I gotta look at that. But then the way he breaks it down. Did he move to take? I mean, who cares? The way he breaks it down, because he has houses in several states. Everybody knows that. I will need to do research on it. It's like he has a house in Atlanta and lived here for years. for those that hear this message, it's clearly meant for you to hear this message, and it must be in your family and affecting you some type of way for Nipsey to teach this to me and to tell me to teach it to you. And I'm not even finished with where he goes with this, because I have to do more study and I have to write out. He actually is showing me what this looks like. Write this out and then go into the other layers of it. So I just wanted to introduce you to it. I want to drop it for you, and I want you to study in your life and write these things out in details. What's your goals? What's not, who you dealing with, who you not. It's time to clean house right now. You can't, and don't tell people what you're doing. Don't tell your family members what you're working on. Unless it's someone that can work numbers with you and calculate them with you, and y'all both play and you both help each other hit, and they're not out discussing this with everybody, because people will try to block your blessings because you don't know which ancestors are your enemies. Okay? And I'm talking about physically alive and who's in them, who's speaking to them about you, but then based on the treatment they give you or don't give you. Yes. You said I definitely feel my mom is karmic. That's an abuse society. Well, she wouldn't be interested in this because it'd be helping you do well, unless she could steal it in some type of way. Because my mother would play numbers all the time and hit. And I remember she used to make me read the Bible every day, and I was like 8, maybe 7, 8. But I was living with my grandmother. My grandmother would allow me a certain time. I had to read the Bible. I had to meditate. Why? So this fluffy, dirty bitch that was hustling and making all this money would come over there. I remember she would make me sit. Damn. I just caught that. I never caught that. She would make me sit on a certain step. So the certain step had, the steps have numbers. So I would always have to sit in the same place. She would come in the house where I had the Bible, and she would tell me which book and which scripture I had to read. So a lot of this number stuff that I'm telling you and the knowledge of it is in the Bible. And I would have to sit there, and she would position my body towards her after she had me sit on a certain number step. Like coming down the steps, she count them. Going up the steps, she count them. I had to sit, and I sat in the same step. And I had to look at her. And then she said, I know you dreamed last night. I know you're a dreamer. Tell me what you dream. So I tell her, trusting the bitch. My grandmother's in the kitchen, so she let it go on. My grandmama see it. She turns and walks off, so she don't listen to everything that's going on. And she has these numbers books. So she sits there. I know because she told me. She didn't have them all with her. Like my grandmother had them in the house. And she would remember. She would tell me all the detail. And she would go back and ask me questions and repeat it. Next thing you know, she comes back and says she done hit. And she got all this money. You think the bitch gave me? The bitch ain't even give me a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. See, that's how I know what I am. And then when I got older, it's like she abused us and wanted to erase that and say, you're not powerful, you're not gifted, it's just me. But she was stealing from her kids. She was siphoning off of her 2 daughters because she knew, and then she would ask my half-sister. But she wouldn't ask her as much. She didn't do it like when my half-sister was a child and growing up in the same ages that she did it to me. She didn't do it to her. She wouldn't train her that same way. But because she didn't continue to do it and work with her kids, and she's worked with other people and make the money for herself and split it with her friends to impress her friends, that type of training didn't continue. But Nipsey is taking me backwards because I didn't remember some of those things until just now as I'm repeating to you. I know you never heard me say this because I never said it. I didn't remember until he's teaching me about numbers and how you use them and how it ties into the body and how somebody will activate that within you or use that, a dirty relative, a dirty ancestor. And so I thought about that, pulling and feeding off your own child. And she said, now think really hard. Now tell me which symbols, what did you see? And now I realized each symbol is numerology. That's how things manifest in the physical, with the energy, the vibration, and a frequency. And what is a frequency, right? On a megahertz. And what's a megahertz? There's a number to the megahertz. And you vibrate that, then you think that in your mind, the conscious, subconscious, and then the super conscious goes out to manifest that image, because the mind is like a hieroglyph. It works in images, vivid colors, and pictures. So when you're focusing on that, whether it's good or it's bad, every day, that image will start to magnetize itself in your vicinity, and it will start to materialize based on the frequency and the pattern that you set out in the image of it, you understand. So yes, if you know how to, it's basically similar number systems. And okay, Mr. Jackson, gratitude. Yes, I appreciate him. I'm grateful. Definitely. So that's the intro I started getting in the past couple of days after I lit the altar, and I was sitting at the altar. I was like, damn, is it really? He said, yes, that's where everything starts, and you tell them that's what they need to know. But as I said, the ones that do not donate, this is just an intro, because I have the list here and I have to sit down and work it, and then I'm going to give it to people who enjoy this. I'm learning to enjoy this. I used to hate numbers because I wasn't good at math. I ain't had nobody help me, but it's never too late to learn. And so he's requiring me to do this and have a group of people where we do it. And I'm glad to have some people in here that already work through them. Like the person said earlier, they work with their father, breaking them down and calculating them, because now he is showing me the connection to the blood. Oh, thank you, Mr. Jackson. Okay. I'm a little tired, so I'm going to lay down. But I wanted to share this with you. And I appreciate the ones that love and support me and donate and share with me. A couple of people have already emailed me about it, but the thing is, I need to get these orders processed and shipped. I appreciate the patience. The stuff is already done. I just need to pack it. I was packing stuff earlier today like I was. You see me, I got wore out from making all that stuff from scratch yesterday. I got to start packing these things. Good thing we got a holiday tomorrow. Post office don't open tomorrow. I'll be getting these things ready for everybody else. I can get that out of the way. And then on the side, I have to finish these systems that he's given me that are totally fascinating. This also ties into gematria. So you study that. The ones that don't know, I need to study it too and get better in it. All these systems work together. And you know, they've hidden that from us all this time, but it belongs to us. Huh. So, you all donate and support me, and I will continue to get well and to get this stuff done. Get your products out to you. I know you're waiting on them, and the people that have them have contacted me and they like them, so I appreciate that. And then we can get into, I can do the audio with Mina, and then so that you all donate, support me, can be listening in private, and then we can be talking about these things. If you have any questions, of course, if you donate, you get the download, and you got the necklaces, all these things that we're changing the energy and the frequency, because I also have to do the audio to tell you how to work with those. But we have the prayers, and I've given people the prayer, the download, for protection every day and to help open up doors to what you want and move obstacles out of the way. Dad bought the spirit kids, that bought the necklaces. I have to get those together and send those out. I know you're patiently waiting, and I appreciate your love and your support. So let me do that. Give me a couple of days, and I'm going to come back. And I just appreciate y'all, the ones that are loyal to me and love me, support me, and y'all help me stay here because I gotta give y'all this information and I gotta write this stuff out. It's so interesting right now. It's so fun. Stuff I didn't understand that I was scared to tackle. Now I feel very confident with Nipsey here because he makes it really simple, and the other people that are here with him. And I like to, it's older people here. He's one of the younger men. Him, King Von's here. And, but most of the people are elders that taught Nipsey and King Von. And it's really beautiful to see because they're very respectful to elders, the ones that are here. I think I just seen P&B Rock stand up in here. Hey, baby. All three of those are respectful to elders. So, if you all feel like donating too to put any food on the altar, I'll be glad, whatever your offerings are, because I need to put them some food up there. Um, I want some too. Some Ethiopian food and some Mexican food. That's what we're wanting. But I love you, and I'm gonna get a little rest, and I'll come back soon.